I want to repeat that there was no unethical, immoral, or illegal activities occurring within our city's government. Over the past many months, the city has been under a lot of scrutiny. Our nearly 9,000 employees need to know that they are the most important part of the city, and we support them. These egregious allegations hurt our team, and we owe it to them to investigate. They work for an organization that can be trusted and operates with the highest degree of integrity. This organization is one of the finest municipalities in the country, and our staff, they're passionate about serving our community and are dedicated to our residents. And although council has different ways they express their passion, we care deeply about this community and our team. This council and I work hard to make Charlotte the best that it can be. Over the past times, I want to say thank you that we are going to have you an opportunity for you, if you'd like to interview council members. I hope that you'll come down and talk with them about the work that's being done. Lindsay is going to provide you with the report that will be distributed, and because we want to address each other, and we also want to make sure that you understand that in transparency, we are taking this level in government. And so today, I hope that you'll have an opportunity, again, to speak up or speak with the members of the council. But more importantly, I hope that you will understand that we know that this community deserves service that we give them and the attention that they are owed. So with that, I'm not going to take any comments or requests or questions from you. But I hope that you'll have an opportunity to see what kind of work this council can do and how we can do this well. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, sure. I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, so we'll do those on the sides.
Sure, go ahead. Uh-huh. Yeah. Absolutely. So, as I said many months ago, I absolutely stand by what I said. I also acknowledge that what was interpreted from what I said was different than what I intended. I covered that many months ago as well. So as it relates to any SEC or widespread financial corruption, that was not what I intended to communicate. I used a very famous quote, "Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." And that was interpreted as a specific allegation of financial corruption. We've covered that point already, so I won't stay there long. When it comes to the investigation itself that I think Mr. Fox initiated here, as I mentioned then, I was supportive of the investigation. However, it's important that we do it in transparency and in a way that our public can trust. And so thankfully, we were able to execute that. I was able to submit in writing on public record my concerns in detail. I was able to participate in the investigation. I would have liked an analysis included in the report to really understand, because each of us are our own people, and we have our own interpretation, our own moral standard, our own what we consider unethical, our own interpretation of what's in the statutes and what is in our own ethics policy. And I respect that we can agree to disagree. So with that, as I mentioned a couple of months ago, what's important here is that we clean up our processes, that we operate in transparency and with integrity, and in a way that's going to deliver the service that we need for our community. So with that, I'm very pleased that we're come to a place where, though we may not agree, we're able to put our eyes on first things first. Yes.
It was a campaign email, and you quickly made it clear that it was a campaign email. You weren't out alleging anything criminal. You said immediately after you sent it?
So as I mentioned prior to, as I understood it, the investigation was about connecting to the SEC and airport bonds. I did have an opportunity to correspond with the SEC and walked away with the impression that they didn't feel that there was any relation to the conversations and concerns that I had. And with the airport bonds, we remain a AAA organization. So with that, for me, the investigation as a matter related to the SEC bonds felt like it was something that was a foregone conclusion because, again, never alleged any financial corruption.
So what happens next? What do you think needs to happen? Because we're in a re-election season, and if you know, what happens next? What should we take from this report, and what should be done? How should the city council govern differently?
Sure, great question. What happens next is the same thing that should have happened next a couple of months ago. Shortly thereafter, this initial conversation, we talked about how we would change our policies, how we would go back and make sure that each and every one of us understood the statutes concerning how we govern, where the authority lies, our own rules of procedure, and ensure that we're executing to that standard. And that's work that is ongoing. That's work that I have seen and have participated in council trying to clean up some of the things that over time maybe gets lost with tradition or in translation. And so that's what we continue to do, election season or not. That's what we owe to our constituents.
Do you feel like any of your concerns or behaviors that you spoke about earlier?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. The door was closed. I'm sorry.
Do you feel like any of your concerns or behaviors that you previously spoke about remain unaddressed after the investigation?
Well, as I mentioned, I would have liked to receive a specific analysis for each one of the concerns, because sometimes it may be about an education, or like I said, people interpreting things differently. And sometimes it's about everybody getting back around what's in black and white and aligning on this is how we're going to execute that. I did not see that in the report, but I hope that we can continue those conversations.
For either you or one of the other council members here, it's been a really tough 5 months. Many different things have happened. The mayor just talked about how she wants to restore trust to the city of Charlotte and Charleston Council. Where do you assess the public being right now in terms of city leadership? And do you think Charlotte can get to a point back to maybe where it was, where residents have full confidence in the diocese? Or do you think that residents do have confidence after all of this?
Well, it's no secret that we are living in unprecedented times. Just across our country, across our world, it is very polarized. You all understand that what we see oftentimes is a sensationalized version. We saw just recently in Portland where depending on what news station you watched, you either thought Portland was falling down or they were having a great festival, right? We have a very savvy electorate. Information is available like never before. And I think that invites people to think critically. And I hope that it does invite people to think critically, that they don't just take things at face value. So will we ever go back to a place where the ruling class is concerned with making the decisions for Charlotte and everyone else comes along? God, I hope not. Because we, the people, are the ruling class. And so I hope we continue to ask tough questions. I hope we continue to make those decisions that are best for our community.
Do you think we're in a better place now because of the challenges of the past 5 months?
I think time will tell. At the end of the day, does our policy end up reflecting the values of the community, and do people feel that they've had a real stake in the decision making? We've heard time and time again some of the refrains of people feeling like they haven't been a part of policy, or it doesn't reflect their needs. That to me is going to be the real question and answer if we've done something here.
I know you started out saying that you stand by your initial comments. Do you have any regrets, concerns at all about where this is going?
The regrets, I can't say that I have regrets, because if I look back and say I acted in a manner that I felt was consistent with my values, I reached out, I believe in diplomacy, I had those conversations with people I had concerns with, I lifted those up, I made a good faith effort to work with folks, and at the end of the day, it wasn't about causing any kind of chaos, but it was about making sure that we are raising the standard and that the people know there's something to look at here. I was not aware that everybody wasn't clear that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It was an extremely famous colloquialism, but I regret that interpretation of my comments were a little bit different than what I intended. But no, I don't regret having spoken up. I don't regret having raised the concern. Like I mentioned before, each of us has our own moral standard. And sometimes we don't always know what others' intents are either. All we can do is recognize when there's an issue, try to have that conversation, and lift it up when we believe that integrity and trust is at stake.
When you talk about absolute power, it was apparent that the two Republican members were not here. Does that say anything?
I'm sorry, do you mean the two Republican members are not here today? Oh, I don't know that it says anything. We found out 2 hours ago that this press conference was happening, so people have schedules. I wouldn't read into that.
If I remember at the time, one of the things that you and some of the others were concerned about during the settlement negotiations is that y'all weren't told that the attorney's office had dismissed an ethics complaint about the text messages. And I don't see that addressed in your, maybe I missed it. Do you feel like that was addressed in the investigation, that y'all weren't told about that?
Well, that was what, as you can see in the report, was one of the concerns that I had in terms of just transparency, in terms of being able to make those decisions eyes wide open as a council. As I mentioned, I would have liked to have seen some specific responses in the report.
So with that, so can you go back and request to dig a little deeper, since I guess the city did pay for this? So with your concerns, can you go back and say, I want a little more information?
Well, I did request from the investigators just a little bit more information for my own learning and for others, because certainly if there are things that we could be doing differently, or if there were recommendations or anything like that, while it was outside of the scope of this investigation here, I would be absolutely open to that, but I don't intend to go make a formal request for that.
Okay, so you did request, have you received that information that you requested?
No, I haven't. And again, I don't necessarily expect that a formal response is going to come back from that. I simply lifted it up that I'm an engineer, right? So if I'm writing a report, these are the assertions, these are the facts, this is my discussion around those facts, and then these are the conclusions. Like I said, the scope of the report was very, very limited. So I would like a little bit of clarity, but I think I can get that just in conversations.
And because you think it was limited, do you think that the investigators were biased, they were leaning towards one side of council than your side, if the outcome did not present what you thought the outcome would be?
I would not say that something was biased. In the absence of information, I'm not going to assume bias. Like I said, would just like to have a clearer understanding for each concern, what was the conclusion based upon is all. But my experience with the investigators was that they came in, they asked questions, they collected data, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have any reason to assert that there was bias in the report.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nick?
Specific policy changes that you'll be advocating for more immediately?
Specific policy changes, no. I know that a number of other council members have some things that they've been lifting up for quite some time. For example, having fewer than 6 members of council be able to add something to an agenda. That one has been floating around for a long time. For me, it's really about following the policies that already exist. What does it say in black and white? And let's just execute what's there.
And I get in moving forward with red flags. So history does not repeat itself. What red flags will you now be looking for to make sure that history doesn't repeat itself if you're reelected and on the board as we go forward?
Sure. If I am reelected, certainly the red flags that I would look for are continuing to look for the same types of red flags that I always look for, not from an ethical standard necessarily, but just from good policy. Have we done our due diligence? Do we have clear problem statements? Is everybody who has a stake in the decision-making informed to the same degree? Are we giving ourselves ample time to engage with the community to make a quality decision? And are we really assessing what the best options are versus a yes or no on what's presented to us, but have we really rolled up our sleeves and executed the work? So I want to see us do our due diligence, give ourselves enough time to execute quality work and engage with the community appropriately.
Anything else you'd like to add that we should have asked you that we did not ask you that you wanted to get out?
Early voting starts November 16th. Well, whoever you vote for, please participate. Thank you. October 16th, excuse me. Thank y'all.